Hey, everybody. Welcome to Automation Nation inside Barnum. I'm your host, Cody, and we are not inside Barnum today. We got a podcast here at the Weidmuller headquarters in Virginia, and we're actually going to be doing a few of them. This is the first of three. We got all kinds of fun, cool things to talk about. Weidmuller graciously hosted us here. We got awesome backdrop of their warehouse, their robot here with some really cool technology that we're going to go over. And first guest today is Hannah. And Hannah, if you could give us a quick little rundown on what you do here at Weidmuller,
Yeah.
and then we'll really get down into it here.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Hannah Witopil. I'm the product manager for all things rail-mounted terminal blocks. We also have PCB-style terminal blocks,
Hmm.
but I manage everything rail-mounted, and that includes also all the accessories, which are, for example, end plates, end brackets, jumpers, din rail, everything
Hmm.
that you need to configure rail assembly.
So with all of that, it's kind of I guess, kind of a unique realm product. How do you really get into that? How does that become what you focus on? I mean, do you have a background in that, or were you just kind of tossed into that to learn it? It's yours now.
More the latter. Because I actually have a mechanical background. I'm not electrical. I back in Germany. I'm from Germany. I did a degree in mechanical engineering and
Hmm.
business administration. So it was a dual degree that I did with focus on international sales and marketing as well. So a little bit of everything that is perfect for a product management background. But in terms of terminal blocks, I mean, other than from previous jobs, seeing them in control cabinets, I didn't really have much to do with terminal blocks and didn't know that much about them either. And quite honestly, I thought, how hard can this be? And 2.5 years later, I finally feel somewhat comfortable with the portfolio. It did
I
take quite a
I
while.
mean, yeah, when I first got introduced to the terminal blocks, I really what there's not much to it. It's a terminal block, putting
Right.
wires into it. But I mean, even just the stuff you have shown on the table here,
Yeah.
the offering is massive, and there's a
Yes.
lot to do with it more than just it's the same old stuff in every cabinet. So,
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, it's especially when you get into the more specific portfolios. Like we have two different major portfolios. One is the universal portfolio.
hmm.
That's where you find your standard feed-through blocks or ground blocks, disconnects, fuses. But then we also have application-specific terminal blocks, and that's where the learning curve is a lot higher, and that takes a little
Sure.
more in-depth training.
So you're originally from Germany, and you worked in Germany. Did you work for Weidmuller in Germany, or
No, no. I started for Weidmuller here in the U.S.
okay?
About 4 years ago. I've been here approximately 10 years, but I have a background in other automation companies. Oh, pull the mic up. Sorry, I guess I'm too quiet. um, so yeah, I've worked for other automation companies, but
Hmm.
I used to sell servo motors and drives, so it was just
Okay.
a completely different field. I lost my train of thoughts now with the
No,
mic
no,
issue.
no worries. No, I mean, really, you coming from Germany with a background and all that, and then you coming over for Weidmuller. I mean, was the transition to Weidmuller why you came over here, or did you come over here and then got hired by Weidmuller? You said you were
Yes,
here for
so
10 years, so
yes, correct. So
yeah,
I worked for a servo motor company
yeah.
back in Germany, and they actually sent me over as an expat, and that's how everything started here.
Okay.
And then in the meantime, I worked also for a gearbox company. So I've
Hmm.
been around that machine building automation industry for quite a while. And then finally, about 4 years ago, that opportunity with Weidmuller popped up. And Weidmuller's always been on my radar because I lived here in Richmond,
Hmm.
and it's another German company. There's quite
Hmm.
a few around in this area. And with them also playing in that same field of machine building slash automation, it just was always on my radar to,
Sure.
be a possibility for me. And I'm
Hmm.
glad it worked out.
And kind of deep diving into an individual product line and managing a product line, I guess would be almost a little bit of a refresher from just all the different types of products you have to deal
Hmm.
with when you're doing other things, just regular engineering or sales. When you can just solely focus on one product line, you really get to be the expert on it, and
Yes.
you really get
Hmm.
get to I guess, like I said, just laser focus on something. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I enjoy that very much about this position. It's very refreshing to go out in the field and, you're just completely comfortable with the portfolio. So that's awesome. And it is a big portfolio, and our FSEs, our field sales engineers, they can't possibly know everything in detail because the portfolio is so large.
Yeah. So I guess the big thing is kind of what you have on the table here that we want to talk
Yes.
about is Weidmuller's kind of got a new line and a new technology with terminals. Instead
Right.
of the stick your screwdriver in, finagle a wire in, or
Yes.
a regular screw terminal, this new technology, the snap in, is, really what makes that so unique, new. I don't want to say groundbreaking if it is groundbreaking, but like why is there such a buzz around it?
Yeah.
What makes it cool?
So I'll start a step back. Snap-in really is the further development of push-in technology.
Yep.
Push-in technology for the first time introduced tool-free wiring.
Hmm.
The only, I guess, disclaimer to put on that is it either has to be a solid wire or a ferruled wire. So
Sure.
you can do that termination of the wire
Hmm.
tool-free. So that was just in our minds not good enough because not everyone likes to ferrule their wires. There's pros and cons to everything in life, like same with the ferruling wires as well. And so we just wanted to have another technology that still allows you to do tool-free wiring, but without the requirement of
Sure.
having ferrules. So now with this new technology, you can terminate a wire in absolute record time without the need of a ferrule, just with a stranded wire. And I'm happy
so
to
then,
demo it real quick.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, I definitely want to see how
Yeah.
it works.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say like an unferruled stranded wire, I mean, how small are we talking about? Because some of the wires that we see in panels are tiny, flimsy
Right.
little sensor wires that
Exactly.
you feel like it's just not going to work unless you ferrule it
Yes.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And those still can work in this technology?
They absolutely can. It depends on the size terminal block you're using, but
Mhm.
on the smallest cross section that we currently use, that's here on this side, is the 2.5 millimeter square cross section, and they can take down to 22 gauge wires.
Okay.
And what makes that possible is that it requires almost zero insertion force, and so it can even trigger that mechanism inside with a small wire like a 22 gauge.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So we say we can wire it now in record time.
Mm-hmm.
You're the expert. This is your product.
Yeah.
Show me how fast it can do it. And then I want to try. I want to see if I,
Yeah, you should.
you know,
Absolutely.
from the I've never done this perspective as well. I want
Yeah.
to try to put one in and see how easy this actually is. So
All right,
we
I'm
got the
gonna-
expert doing it first.
Yes. And I'm going to try to point it here in the camera. I hope you guys can see. So I just have a stranded wire right here. It's not ferruled, not a solid wire, just standard stranded wire.
Yep. So if anyone's just listening to the audio only, is not watching this on YouTube, we have a whole terminal strip here of the snap-in with some just regular wires, non-ferruled. So
Yes. And so I'm just going to use, this is I think a 14 or 16 gauge wire that I have here right now. So I'm going to use these smaller terminal blocks. And I'm just going to land it in here. And then you will hear a subtle click. And you see the pusher jump up.
yeah.
So you got two ways of feedback from the terminal block already, and you can also feel it when you move your
So you have a
finger
nice
over it.
physical, detent pops up,
Yes.
and you hear the click. And I mean, you didn't put almost any pressure on that
Correct.
at all.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
the wire didn't even bend.
Yes, correct.
is pretty
So I'll give
impressive.
you a wire as well. You can try it out as well. Here, I have some more. Just let me take
So
the
then
insulation
it's
off.
truly toolless.
Yes.
What about removal? We can look at that here in a second, but is
Yeah.
removal toolless too?
No, because I'll let you try it real quick first.
Well, that's weird.
See how little
easy
force it
that
took.
is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So in order to remove the wire, because you want to make sure this doesn't come just out,
Yeah.
it has to stay in there.
Yeah, that's a
So-
good point. It goes in so easy, but
Right.
yeah,
Yes, there is very high pull-out forces that hold this wire inside of the clamp because it has to.
Yep.
And a snap-in block, just because it is also a spring-type technology, has
Yep.
to fulfill the same requirements as, like, let's say, a push-in or a tension clamp terminal block. So for UL, you have to test according to the same standards. So
Yep.
it has to fulfill those requirements. So in order to remove it, you have to open the spring because
Yep.
otherwise it would come out too easy without a tool, right? So, but the good thing is it's no different than pushing. For pushing, everyone's used to already pushing down on the pusher with the screwdriver, and the same thing you do here. You push down on it, and then you give it a little more of a push, and it's reset
Oh, and it
again
resets
for the
itself.
next
Okay.
for the next termination. Yes.
So I'm not an electrician, but I do build demos all the time for our own use at Barnum and for our salesmen.
Mm-hmm.
And I do, do some wiring every once in a while. And I gotta say, just a standard spring terminal that I have to jam that screwdriver in is
Right.
cumbersome. Like it is
Yeah.
annoying. I get frustrated with it every single time.
Right.
That thing's actually pretty darn incredible how fast you
Yes.
can do that. Like
Yeah.
that's the first time I've ever actually plugged into one of those things, and that's
Yeah.
that's really nice.
Well, and the
I mean,
good
I mean, I would assume something like that would be exponentially more expensive than just a standard spring terminal, though.
I would be lying if I'd say there's not doesn't come at a premium. It is the
But
premium
but
technology.
I mean, I am blown away how easy
Yes.
that is. I mean,
So we're
it's
not talking about a huge add-on. By the time you add a ferrule to a wire for
hmm
any push-in technology to make it tool-free, you're going to be at the same cost again. The real kicker is what you're going to save in labor time.
yeah, yeah,
Installation time, this technology compared to a screw technology can save you up to 86%. It's
it
insane.
is.
It's
I mean,
so much
honestly, I
faster.
didn't think terminal technology could get that like wow or
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
really that mind-blowingly different, and that
Yeah.
is definitely mind-blowingly different and easy.
Yeah.
It is impressive.
It sure
Yeah.
is. And we're super proud of it. This is a Weidmuller invention.
hmm
It's been worked on for over a decade already. And we had other products with snap-in technology
hmm
as well. And Terminal Blocks was just the latest addition, really.
I'm sure the competitors are going to be rushing to do their own version of it, but you guys
Yes.
all know that was invented here. This is a
Mm-hmm.
Weidmuller thing, and if you're a customer listening to this or a salesman listening to this, get your hands on some of this and try it out. I'm sure salesman or a local Weidmuller rep has demos of this stuff already to play with,
Yeah.
and it definitely needs to get in people's hands to look at it because it is very cool.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
usually tell people. I can talk all about it, but you have to try it out. And as soon as you feel how easy it is and how fast, it
hmm
doesn't need more words, really.
Yeah, I mean the time savings, like you said, is massive. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and back behind us, you get the robot
Right.
that can delicately put that in there
Yes.
with
Mm-hmm.
no issues.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
And that ties into that zero insertion force. That's
Yeah.
something that only snap-in technology made possible,
hmm
that you now can, beside automated assembly, also can do automated wiring. That was not a reality before. So it's truly the stuff for the future. I mean, automated wiring so far is not standard yet, but I'm
Yep.
sure something like this, a technology like this, will make that a possibility.
So you being the product manager of this,
Mm-hmm.
since this has been in development for a while, since before you even came on, did you help at all with the finalizing of the development of it, or just kind of oversee launch type of things like that with it?
Yeah, no, I'm responsible for the overseas launch. Yeah, like I said, this has been worked on for over 10 years already. So
Yeah.
I only been here for about 4 years,
hmm
and then in training for some time. So I wasn't really involved in the development process of
Yep.
this. This has been around for quite a while. But yeah, as in terms of the American launch, that's my
Yeah.
responsibility here to.
How long has it actually been available, or is it brand new?
It was launched at the end of 2021,
Okay.
so we're coming on 4 years already.
hmm
So it's been around for a few years.
It
Yeah.
is. It's very very cool.
Yeah, but we actually started with other products with snap-in technology. The first one was our HTC heavy-duty connectors. That was in 2018 already when they released
Okay.
those. And then the next one, which was also kind of like the design blueprint for terminal blocks, was the PCB connectors, the
Yep.
OmniMate line. That also includes snap-in technology. So it's been around for quite some time in other products as well.
So yeah. So the Snap-in, to segue into that, the Snap-in has been part of other technologies in Weidmuller's platform,
Mm-hmm.
and more than just standard terminal wiring. Is that expanding into new parts as well, new panel components?
Yeah.
Like Give me the quick rundown on what it actually is all available. We know that it's standard terminals, but what else can use that snap in, or why?
Yeah.
What's the benefit of it putting it in other stuff?
So, I mean, in terms of different portfolios, it is truly heavy duty connectors, PCB connectors, and terminal blocks. So,
Hmm.
I'm not aware of any other developments in other realms of that, but we're constantly working on extending the line of
Yep.
terminal blocks, for example. So far we've had feed through and ground blocks in 1 level, 2 level versions,
Hmm.
two different sizes. But now we're adding, for example, fuse blocks, like this black one here is a fuse block
Yep.
that lets you protect a circuit. And then we got disconnect blocks as well with a hinged blade disconnect. And then up the bigger cross sections up to 4 gauge now. So that's the latest releases that we had just last month, actually. We released these big cross sections. So you can cover everything, as mentioned before, from 22 gauge now up to 4 gauge in snap-in, which is
And it
covering
still is
a big
like zero
percentage.
force at that large of a gauge wire, or is
Those will require a little bit
okay?
more force.
I
Yeah,
figured it'd probably be
it's
a
a
little bit
big
more.
mechanism, yeah, but it's still very little compared
Hmm.
to what this would take in a push-in
Yeah.
technology.
So you have some bigger gauge wires here. Which
Yes.
which ones would those fit in on the terminal just to try
Let me see
here?
what I brought here. I think this is a 8 gauge or a 6 gauge, so we'll put this on the middle one here. So hopefully you guys can see. And it
That
also
is,
did that click.
yeah. The audible click is really nice.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
again, you get the visual because the
Yep.
pusher jumps up, so you know which ones are terminated or released and which ones are
Yeah.
not. Yeah. And then next month, actually, we're adding the 3-tier terminal blocks as well. So we're constantly building out the
Sure.
portfolio.
Hmm.
And later this year, we'll also add pluggable terminal blocks and another multi-level block that's going to be very popular in the railway industry that we know of from other technologies. So it's just constantly building out this portfolio.
Great. Yeah, I can't see why you wouldn't want to put this on as much as possible.
Right.
It's such a clean, easy little piece.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Good. We're proud of it.
Um, let's see here. Kind of digging through some of my notes I want to ask you on.
Mhm.
Um, gosh, it's easy to just talk about how simple that thing wires and pushes in.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and one thing maybe I can add on that note is there is or the way this mousetrap mechanism works, there
yep.
is a pressure plate deep down in the clamping unit.
Hmm.
And once this wire, that stranded wire hits that little pressure plate, it releases the spring, and that's that mousetrap
That's a
mechanism.
good way to put it as a mousetrap, because
Mm-hmm.
that really does kind of feel like what's happening
Yeah.
there.
But what makes this very safe is that you know exactly when this pressure plate is hit and releases the mousetrap, you know the wire is inserted deep enough and it makes a proper mechanical and electrical
Sure.
connection. So there's absolutely no wondering whether this wire is terminated
Yeah,
or
because
not.
if you have a non-ferruled wire, how many times you've jammed it in there and it folds up on itself and you're
Mm-hmm.
not getting proper contact, you're wondering why you're getting a short or something like that.
Right,
You don't
exactly.
know, it's hidden down
Mm-hmm.
in there.
Yeah.
But with that, it's yeah, with an audible click and
Yeah.
everything like that. I mean, yeah, you guys covered all the bases on it to
Yeah.
really make it easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah, and so there's basically no more shining a flashlight between the wire duct and
mm-hmm.
the connection point to see if it's connected correctly. There's no retorquing, obviously,
Yep.
required. So any spring type technology is maintenance free
Mm-hmm.
because once the wire's terminated, you don't have to do anything with it anymore.
This is honestly a good little bridge between we at Barnum and a lot of our customers like to push quick connect technology,
Mm-hmm.
M12 connections, things like that, where it's just you don't have to do any wiring.
Right.
This is a perfect gap of okay, we have quick connect screw in terminals, no
Mm-hmm.
wiring, and now when we do the wiring, it's as fast or faster than that with this style connection.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
absolutely.
we always like to brag about quick connect saves you time in the panel. This
Yeah.
saves just as much or more time in the panel. I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah. Everyone needs to save either on time or on space.
Hmm.
So that's always the
I
two
mean,
things.
speaking of space too, is there
Mm-hmm.
any when you get in the standard sizes, are these bigger Like, is it going to take up more terminal space on average in somebody's panel?
Not typically. So with the, especially with the top entry wiring, like
Mhm.
these are, they're the same width. So it's a standard. Each cross section has the same width, whether it's a tension clamp, a push-in, a screw, or in this
Sure.
case, a snap-in block. They may get slightly taller
Mhm.
in the panel because the snap-in connection takes slightly more space. Where it makes maybe more of a difference is the side entry connection. And side entry really was done here because it makes it a lot easier for these bigger wires
Yep.
because they can go straight into the wire duct. There's no bending radius. So side entry wiring makes
Mhm.
sense in these bigger cross sections. And so you can tell this one here, for example, this is a 3 connection point terminal block, and that's just
Yeah.
because of the nature of the connection being on the side, or I can show it on this one here. So this is not a 2-level terminal block. It's just in this case, a 4 connection terminal block, all on the same potential. But because they're on the side, you have to build up.
Yep.
Where with the top connections, you could just get a little longer.
Mhm.
And that's the main difference. But yeah, I mean, and the other thing in terms of space now is with the 2-level and 3-level terminal blocks, now you also not just making people more efficient, but
Yeah,
they
you're
also
using a
can
lot less
save in
DIN rail
space,
and
right?
yep.
Yeah. Instead of putting 3 next to one another, they can just use one and put them on top of each other.
Mhm.
So normally you have that space in a cabinet anyway. You got a big other component, maybe a power supply or anything like that,
Yep.
sitting next to it, so you might as well use that space.
Now you got your other DIN
Mm-hmm.
rail there. Is there anything on that that kind of melds with this snap in, or is it
Yeah.
completely different here? Just
So,
to
what I want to point out on this one here is that with these new additions, and you can see the green pushers here in the middle, that's the
Mhm.
snap-in technology. That's green pushers versus our push-in technology
So
is
all the
orange
snap in
pushers.
has the green pushers.
Correct, yes. So that's a little how you can recognize the different
Mhm.
technologies. And so why we build up this demo rail is to demonstrate how we can do everything in side entry wiring in push-in and in snap-in and our push fast connect here with the big power feed-in blocks as well.
Yep.
So this is for all the, let's say, screw lovers that don't necessarily love the screw for screwing and torquing and documenting, but
Mhm.
for the wire going directly into the wire duct. And so now there's a wiring technology or fast wiring technology for side entry from the small 2.5 cross section all the way up to, this takes up to 350 MCM. So you can do all this side entry wiring, including snap-in now with the fast wiring technologies.
Okay.
So it's just, it kind of bridged that
Yep.
gap between the smaller push-in side entries and the big power feed blocks.
Mhm.
Snap-in now bridges that gap, and we have that full breadth of
Everything can
portfolio.
do that
Yes.
side entry. Yep.
Yeah, correct. So that's mainly why I brought this portfolio as well.
Yeah. That's it's nice. I mean, Weidmuller's, like I said, they're really covering their bases with this and making sure there isn't anything missing when it comes to fast wiring. You know, you
Yeah.
don't. Someone's not going to say, "Well, you don't have exactly this style in a side entry, so I'm going to use so and so's brand." No,
Right.
there's an option for it
Yes.
already, and it's most likely the best option for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just really to give more variety and please different preferences of customers. Some people love top entry because you got
Yep.
that clear view of the entry point
Sure.
of the clamp and you know exactly what you're doing. You can just see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then some deal with maybe lower installation heights. And so they want this wire to go in from the side and
Yep.
go straight into the wire duct. So it's just always to make sure we have something for everyone.
Now, I don't know if there is a true answer to this or anything, but to kind of shift gears a little bit,
Mhm.
has this technology been recognized anywhere special? Like, have you guys won any awards on it, or
Mhm.
like got any awesome, edits on it, put in some magazines or
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we, that was actually Germany or our headquarters, but they won an innovation award in Germany. I want to say in 2022 or 21 early on
Sure.
for this technology already. So got plenty of recognition there. And then of course, as it gets more traction here in the US and
Mm-hmm.
more attention, we do a lot of media. We wrote a white paper on it that people can read everything up on about Snap-in. Lots of magazine articles or podcasts. No,
Yeah.
like this one here.
Is all that pretty front and center on the website, easy to see? If people wanted to learn a little more on it, they don't have to go dig into some hidden hole in the terminal section on the website. It's pretty easy
Yeah.
to access.
Yeah, so yeah, it's two ways to get to it. We have a Snap-in landing page that covers all the Snap-in products, so
Mhm.
not just terminal blocks, but also the heavy-duty connectors and the PCB products. And then, of course, terminal blocks have their own Snap-in landing page where you get just a little more detail on the terminal block side. But yeah, it's pretty much front and center. The white paper can be downloaded there as well, and you can read everything about the different technologies, the
Mhm.
termination technologies from screw to tension to push to snap, and how they differ, to the time savings that from one technology to the other, to the actual development process of this,
Sure.
because it was pretty interesting to to follow and hear about what they went through developing this product.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty sweet. Um, all that integrates into configuration software too, right?
Hmm.
Weidmuller's got that really nice
Yes.
configuration software that's got like the entire portfolio on there, and you can
Right.
build your entire panel if you
Hmm.
wanted to, and output all your part numbers.
Right. Yeah, that's it's a pretty sweet tool. Our Weidmuller configurator is, I want to say, very intuitive. It doesn't take a lot of training
Hmm.
to work on it and or work with it. It's a free tool. Everyone can download and install it and use it also a little bit as a almost like a catalog, because
Yeah.
it makes it a lot easier to find product, and
Hmm.
obviously Snap-in is
There
integrated in
are
it
a
as well.
lot of part numbers in
Yes,
Weidmuller's system, so
they
as
are.
the probably it's a nice visual way to scroll through and figure out what you actually need instead of just getting overwhelmed with
Yeah.
how much there is. I mean, Weidmuller's offering is massive, so
Yeah, I want to say I think we have about 60,000 SKUs, if I'm not mistaken, but I want to say it's up there. I alone have 6,500 part numbers. That's insane.
that is a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot to manage.
but that's what the configurator is really, really good for, and
Hmm.
because it lets you choose product based on, let's say you pick a technology. You don't know what that terminal block is called or what its part number is,
Hmm.
but you can filter by technology and select your terminal blocks that way, or other components, relays,
It's
um,
nice, yeah, 'cause you can
power
filter it so you
supplies.
don't have to know the part numbers. You don't
Right.
have to know exactly what you're looking for. You just,
Mm-hmm.
if you know I need a side entry terminal, there's filters for that.
Right.
Look what you need.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, you can build up your whole rail assembly that way.
Hmm.
Popped in terminal blocks or any other component on the rail. And then after that, you can hit the documentation button and you get the full BOM, all the drawings for it. You can export all kinds of different formats into other CAD programs,
Yep.
which makes it a super, super user-friendly tool. And best thing is it's for free. Who doesn't
Yeah,
like that?
I mean, there's a lot to that for a free piece
Yeah.
of software.
Yeah.
That's some people charge a premium for that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that is very nice value
I
added there.
Yeah, I use it almost every day. It's just it helps so much to just throw a few blocks on a rail and show someone what it
Hmm.
looks like, what are the dimensions and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot easier than trying to show that to on a camera or something for
Mm-hmm.
someone,
Right.
because the visuals on it are nice full 3D
Yeah.
HD visuals.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nice piece of software.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I guess we covered almost a majority of what we can on these.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is there anything else you can think of off the top of your head that'd be worth sharing about this or the process or even your involvement in this that, is this product line, people might think terminals are pretty boring, but is it a pretty rewarding segment for you? Like you
Yeah.
enjoy it, or is there just any final thoughts on this you'd
I
like to share with me?
Yeah, I enjoy it very much because I go out in the field as well to support our field sales guy, because again, they need product specialists out there
Hmm.
because you can't possibly know everything
Hmm.
about all our products. So I go out there and I get the experience. When you walk into a customer and you show them terminal blocks, you might get a little tired look in their face because it's a
We've been
terminal
using
block.
terminals forever.
And then you show them Snap-in and they're like, "Oh, you didn't waste my time today. That's
Yeah,
great."
I mean, honestly, that little thing right there with me pushing
Mm-hmm.
it in there
Yeah.
was impressive. Like
Yeah.
there's no reason for me to be impressed on a terminal block,
Yeah.
and I am from that 2 second demo.
Right.
Like
Yeah. That's why I always say, like, don't even talk much about it. Just let them try it out. As soon
Hmm.
as they feel how little force it takes, how fast it is, how easy it is,
Yep.
there's not much more you need to say.
Yeah. If you're a salesperson listening to this, better get one of those in your pocket and carry it around to all your electrical shops because it
Absolutely.
is, yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
and
slick.
and if even if it's just a door opener to keep the conversation
Hmm.
open and to keep the ears open of your
Yeah.
customer, because that really helps with that
Well, even
a
if they're
lot.
not using that, it also
Mm-hmm.
shows Weidmuller as a whole being innovative. Like
Exactly. Yes.
we as Weidmuller are coming up with things others don't have.
Yes.
Yeah, you might not want to do this with terminals, but now opens the door for what else?
Mm-hmm.
Because it just shows as a company,
Yeah.
it's more than just copy paste terminal that everybody else has on the
Right.
market.
Exactly. And it's always good to see the wheels starting to turn as to, oh my, how much time could I save with this?
Yeah, the time
Yeah.
is becoming the biggest
Yeah.
conversation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone has to have more output, more throughput, and you got to get more efficient.
Hmm.
That's what it's all about. And Snap-in definitely helps with that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I didn't think we could talk this long on terminal blocks, but we sure did because it was they are impressive. Like I said, I think I've
Yeah.
reiterated that 3 or 4 times now that they are impressive little terminal blocks. But thank you for chatting with me.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, I don't think
Anytime.
there's too much else we have to say on it. If you have any other things, feel free.
No, I think I've said
But
it all, but like I said, just I can only encourage everyone to try it out.
yeah,
Yeah.
and again, if anybody wants to try something out with these, I am fairly certain there's a local Weidmuller representative nearby, or you call someone from H Barnum and we'll get you a sample, we'll bring a demo in, or just get you the information you need right away. There's local Barnum sales reps all over the place now, and obviously Weidmuller's global, so there's representation all over the place for this as well. Um, Thank you for having us here to do the podcast at
Absolutely.
Weidmuller.
Yeah.
A nice
This is
change of
exciting.
pace. It's
Mm-hmm.
really cool, different background, little different scenery, and
Yeah. Welcome. We glad to have you guys.
this was great, and I appreciate the time you set aside for us, and hopefully
Absolutely.
we'll have some more fun conversations with some other people here yet today.
That sounds
But
good. I'm sure you will.
thanks again, and thank you everyone for listening to an Automation Nation episode, and thanks again, Hannah.
Thank you.